Now's your chance. You still have time to pause the video and go outside. You're still here? Okay. Slops on, come get your slop. My best friend in the whole wide world and favorite collaborator here on YouTube.com is called Think Before You Sleep. You know him, you love him, he has almost 1 million subscribers. 2 months ago, he released a video called Why Women Won't Date You. In this one, he's responding to a couple of guys who are kind of weird guys and having trouble dating or self-describe as incels. And he basically gives them some advice on what to do. Some of the stuff he says I actually think is totally fine, like he tells them to touch grass.
Touch grass is one of those things that everyone jokes about, and it seems to piss off the average angry guy on the internet. But it's said a lot because it's true.
He recommends that guys go to the gym.
Walter looks like a twig right now, but in 3 to 6 months of beginner lifting mixed with a proper sleep schedule and a good diet, he could double his size, which will not only make him look more masculine, but also help him fill in his clothes better.
I might have said it in a different way, but as a gym cell myself, I agree with the general sentiment expressed here. One thing I thought was cool was at the start of the video, one of the first things he says is that you shouldn't go to Starbucks.
Why are you going into a Starbucks by yourself as a guy? Starbucks is like for women, and their coffee tastes like burnt crap, so there's really no point in purchasing anything there unless you're buying coffee for a girl that you're with.
I'm also in favor of boycotting Starbucks for slightly different reasons, but hey, if this helps tank their stocks, then go for it. Now, the reason I'm talking about this video today is because there's also some stuff in it that I thought was pretty weird. The first thing that happened is that he described an awkward approach from this guy as being autistic.
If he wants to know why dating is hard in the current day, it's because he opened up a conversation with a chick he doesn't know in a very autistic way. Oh my God, you have a shirt with Death Cab for Cutie on it. That's been my favorite band since I was 14, and you're wearing that shirt. The conversation is very much about you when you say things like that.
So is he here referencing the fact that autistic people sometimes often do have trouble reading social cues? Or is he using it as an insult? And later in that video, we get an answer to that question when Sean makes the claim that autism is a fake disability that people can train their way out of.
Outside of that, and continuing with the notion that autism is a fake disability because almost everyone who claims they have it can just train their way out of it, probably the only way that Raymond's going to catch up enough socially to the point where a woman would be willing to date him is to learn conversational skills through therapy.
Think Before You Sleep understandably got a lot of backlash in the comments from his viewers. Dude, what are you talking about? There is no training your way out of autism. You can learn to mask it from other people, but you can't rewire how your brain functions on a genetic level with training. It's a permanent disability that you can work around but never cure. Please educate yourself about autism. You're familiar with it as an insult, but you clearly don't understand it. Can you make a video or a post on why you believe autism is a fake disability and can be trained out of? That's a ginormous claim to just casually throw out there. Midwit thinks you can train your way out of a serious developmental disorder. I presume next we'll be discussing how those with muscular dystrophy just need to hit the gym more. As an autistic person, most of us have more social awareness than the first guy. Please don't use autistic as an insult. No, we can't just train our way out of autism. My sensory processing issues get worse with exposure. My brain is structured differently. Please do your research on autism before saying something that ignorant. Autism is not a fake disability. As someone with autism, sure, you can train social skills, but no matter what you do, you will still be autistic. It affects your life in many other ways besides socially. It's a fundamental difference in brain makeup and chemistry. One of my favorite critical comments was from someone who quoted Sean saying, "You opened up a conversation in an autistic way," and then responds, "Well, buddy, how else am I supposed to do it?" In response to the criticism in the comments, he doubled down on this idea in a post on his community tab. "I stand by my statement on autism being a fake disability. Unless you have Rain Man autism, you aren't disabled. Down syndrome is a real disability. Tourette's is a real disability. Cerebral palsy is a real disability. Autism, dyslexia, and ADHD are like the type 2 diabetes of mental disorders. You can remove the negatives of them with changes in behavior. You cannot do that with Down syndrome, cerebral palsy, or Tourette's." Quite honestly, I'm tired of everyone on the internet diagnosing themselves with crippling, incurable autism simply because they are a little lacking in social skills and because they have social anxiety. Get over it. Most of you would be cured with a little meditation and 6 months of leaving your house 1 to 2 times per week. I had a family member who would constantly blame other people for her problems and say that she couldn't get ahead in life because she had crippling ADHD, to which I would say, you don't have ADHD, you're just crazy. Put real effort into managing your negative behaviors and the problems you are experiencing will go away. If you have dyslexia, then read The Dyslexic Advantage. You aren't stupid. Your brain is better at different things than other people and is worse at things that people are normally good at. Dyslexia is also a common indicator of successful people, even with things like schizophrenia. You'd be surprised at how many people that have it because they are drug addicts, not because they actually have the disease. I'm tired of all the complaining from people. Stop diagnosing yourself as hopeless because you watched a YouTube video that said you are neurodivergent if you don't like certain smells. This is ridiculous and you're ruining your lives because you don't want to make simple changes and discipline yourself over time. So why am I bringing this up 2 months after the fact here? Well, last week I released a video called The Team Sports of Online Leftists. I talked about a bunch of stuff in it, but I also in passing responded to some criticism I got for my Think Before You Docs video. He made a post responding to that video, and then I made a video addressing 3 things from that post. The only point he responded to from this video, which was also the kind of least important one, was when I was like, why are we using the R word? I guess the R slur, why? You know, why use that? He then responded to that video with a tweet where he says, I would like to formally apologize to Noah Samson for saying the R slur. I now realize that this word is incredibly offensive, and I certainly wouldn't want to say the word retard, R slur, to intentionally discourage certain types of people from reading my tweets. I mean, this is a pretty predictable response, right? He doesn't care, which is why he used the word in the first tweet and then is using again here, doing sort of a bit. It's a really good bit. It's a funny bit, especially if you're 35 years old. That one was more so me thinking about my own audience rather than, you know, the target of the video. If I was directing my criticism towards him directly, it was dumb to even bring that up. It doesn't make any sense. So lesson learned there, I suppose. I'm not here as the Twitter police. You know, this guy can say whatever he wants online. I'm just curious if this notion that he doesn't care if he alienates people on his Twitter for using the R word, if that applies to YouTube as well, because that is what seems to be happening or happened due to the same sort of mentality we see on display in these tweets. Someone in the replies to this tweet gives Sean the R word pass, and I thought his response to that tweet was interesting. I'm autistic amongst other things. Use the R slur, fucking R words, getting offended. And then Sean says, yeah, really? How is it that you can't call people without it being offensive, but these people can accuse everyone and their grandmother of being autistic? Mentally retarded is literally just the scientific terminology for the condition, and so is autism. So there's a few things that I want to point out here. First is that, you know, the people that take issue with using the R word as an insult, 99% of the time will also take issue with using autistic in the same way as a, you know, pejoratively. If you're going to point to someone doing a double standard, it helps to point to like a single person actually doing that. And second, you know, when he says that the R word is the scientific term for the condition, whatever that means, you know, that's not true. The R word has been out of the DSM-5 and legal language for over 10 years, replaced with intellectually disabled. If I'm going to be honest, I do think that most people that use the R word aren't doing so to be intentionally malicious towards intellectually disabled people. Speaking personally, I've used it many times in my life, and it's always just been a sort of potent replacement for calling something stupid. That doesn't mean it's not still ableist and harmful, and frankly just kind of cringe. It is. It's all of those things. But I feel like it's a few degrees of separation away from, you know, direct, overt discrimination or bullying. You might disagree with me on that, but that's just how I see it. That said, though, I do think that when the person using it thinks autism is fake,
autism is a fake disability,
that people can train themselves out of it.
Almost everyone who claims they have it can just train their way out of it.
That uses the word autistic, like the diagnosis, in the same way as a pejorative.
He opened up a conversation with the chick he doesn't know in a very autistic way.
Doubles down when a bunch of people in his audience point out that this is just factually untrue, and just generally has no clue what he's talking about when it comes to this topic. That feels different. You know, that feels like a little more than the average R-word user, because I've genuinely never seen that claim that autism is a fake disability, and now we have, and that's fun, and that's why I love this guy, and he's my favorite YouTuber, and he's my best friend. So anyways, that's just a quick one. Hope you enjoyed. Let me know what you thought. Don't forget to go outside, take a deep breath, call somebody, take a walk, like the video, subscribe to the channel, check out your local, small business and stuff. Bye. See ya.